Hi all, so I've had a couple of requests for a little walk around of the interior of the machine, so I thought I'd do my best. I apologise for having bars on, I am actually working today. So this is a 2007 Agusta 119 Mark II. The difference between the aircraft, the early Mark 1s, where we have digital displays, used to have analogue displays. This is the Mark II with the digital ones, and the latest ones, which are the KX and the KE variants, all have glass cockpit. So rather than conventional style instruments, which is this cluster here, you just have a digital screen with all the instruments overlaid. So I'll take you around the cockpit, show you what's on board, and then I'll take you through a startup. So I am just going to tilt the camera up, so I apologise if I make it dizzy. Up at the top here, we have all our circuit breakers. You may be able to see a couple that have ringed. These are just the more important ones, so they can be found more easily. These two are actually for the float system, in case I need to arm the floats. The floats do have a separate switch, hence why I just leave them in. And then working our way across the panel, you'll often see me moving the switches up here. This is our cabin lights, that's for the rear interior lights. Position lights are our navigation lights. These two knobs here control the instrument lighting. So this one does the panel lights, this one does the instrument lights. This is our anti-collision light, the strobe lights. This is our float arming switch. These two here are the inverters. They take the voltage from the generator and convert it for the instrumentation. This is the engine ignition, which can be in off, automatic or continuous. It's just left in automatic. Engine fuel heater, preheater is there, that's always left on. Pitot heat is there, and cabin vents are up here. Then the electrical system, we have battery, generator and main bus. It has two bus bars, an emergency and a main one. Now if I tilt you down a little bit, this will be fun, live video. Hopefully that doesn't look too awful. So coming down then, we have our two displays. I'm going to switch these on in a minute so you can see what they all do. Then we have our instrumentation. We have airspeed indicator, digital attitude indicator, electronic altimeter. The only difference from an electronic one is you shouldn't adjust the pressure setting unless it's actually switched on. Vertical speed, HSI, which gets its magnetic readings from a sensor underneath the tail. Engine and rotor RPM, second attitude indicator. This is a radar altimeter. This is a Orion TCAD traffic system, and then that's a clock. Our avionics panel is a Garmin 530, a Garmin 430, Garmin transponder, and a Garmin intercom panel. And then down here, which hopefully you can see, down here we have the Autopilot panel, which is exactly the same as the one in the 109, but we don't have the upper modes. That's the ability for the Autopilot to fly itself. We just have the stability system, and that's on this panel here. Then we have the fuel system, and then we have USB ports and our intercom system. On the collective, we have throttle. Someone's about to start a helicopter behind me. Start button, float button, bleep trim for RPM, which we only use when the engine is in its mechanical mode. Normally it's in its electronic mode and we haven't got to do anything. And then landing light switch. And if you can just about see the cyclic, if I get out of the way, just about, we have a switch for cancelling the alarms, a force trim release, a coolie hat switch for controlling the beep, so that's small adjustments in pitch and roll, and then a trigger for the radios. So let me switch it on and I'll take you through the avionics. The screens always start aeroplanes. The screens always start really dark, so we bring them up to full light. The top screen is our performance screen, so we have engine temperature, gearbox torque, N1 and engine and rotor RPM. Down the side we have all our captions. Any of the amber captions are just cautions, and they switch themselves off as we start the aircraft up and they'll disappear. Red is obviously an alarm, and green, which you can see if I put the landing light on, is anything that I've switched on just to remind me that it's there. On the bottom screen we have the vehicle health. So we have engine, oil pressure and temperature, transmission, oil pressure and temperature, the electrical system, these two are for the inverters, Probably filming at an airfield, there's aircraft coming and going. We have the fuel pressure and quantity, and then hydraulic for the two different hydraulic systems. So that's a quick walk around of the inside. Hopefully the other aircraft will add some ambient noise. And next off, I'll take you through the startup. Okay, so we'll go through the startup now. It's a tiny bit out of sequence because the battery's on, just so I can get the microphone to work with the camera. So we start at the bottom. We have throttle closed, landing lights are off, fuel pumps are off, autopilot's off, avionics are off. These are on just because the battery's on, we'll go through those in a minute. Air conditioning and the heater is selected off. Batteries would be off, but they're obviously on so I can talk to you. Inverters are off. Engine ignition is automatic. Strobe is on. Engine heater is on. Pitot is off. Vents are off. Heating is off. Cabin lights are off. Position lights are off. And all the circuit breakers are in as required. And the floats are off. Then we work our way back down again. We go battery on. Main buzz bar on. We bring up the displays so that we can see them. Quick check to make sure everything is looking correct and all the ambient readings are correct. Checking our instrumentation to make sure everything is clear, legible and nothing is broken. Fuel pumps then go on. Pump 1, pump 2, transfer pump. Good look right, good look left. Press and release the start button. Now we're making sure our N1 is above 12% and our residual temperature is below 100 degrees before we introduce the fuel. Fuel goes in, engine lights off, and then we're just watching the temperature climb. That's it, temperature going back down again. N1 over 60, so that's now self-sustaining. Generator goes on, check that it works. Inverters go on one at a time, and we check that they're working. Position lights can go on, and our radios can go on.
Ground mode.
Our radar altimeter we're going to set at 300 feet. The pressure is about 1026, something like that. We'll set the traffic system to the same pressure. Just waiting for the avionics to come online. 430 is not connected to anything, so we just check the database and okay everything to go through to the map. 530 is connected to the HSI, so we okay that. Check that the HSI moves correctly with the test, and then we're okay in that. Vertical gyros have run up, so we'll put the autopilot on. Then we'll do the fuel check. So our fuel pressure at the moment is 17-18 psi. Turning off pump 1, it stays the same, we get a capture for pump 1. Turning off pump 2, it drops to nothing, the engine pump continues to work. Turning on pump 1, pressure comes back up, and then pump 2, and all the captions are clear. Checking the autopilot, attitude hold to off, SAS 1 off, SAS 2 off, attitude hold flicks to engage, SAS 2 on, SAS 1 on, all the captions are clear. And then we just motor using the force trim to make sure our trim indications are moving. Check the force trim, and then we check the trim release. All of our indicators come back to neutral. Quick check of the hydraulics, those are our two reservoirs there. So we just move the controls around a little bit, making sure we don't get any massive drops in hydraulic pressure.
Golf Whiskey Alpha Romeo Sierra at the 26 hold, ready to depart.
Golf Romeo Sierra, take
530 will stick back in the traffic mode.
My discretion, Golf Romeo
Wind the
Sierra.
throttle up, put the air conditioning on.
Rotor low.
Nice and gently with the throttle, first flight of the day. You'll see the transmission oil pressure is high yellow. That's just because it's still very cold. And that's it, she's good to go. Extra information, it's helicopter November 119 Sierra X-ray requesting airfield information and radio check for a departure via Alpha.
So if you're recording now, you need to stop because I'm going to look at Plonker. Just remind me where you said you were heading off to and back from?
too late. Private site Cranfield.
We did get it right. Okay, that's all right. Okay, it's 26. You can start recording now. Austrian information. Good morning. 26 right. The QNH 1025.
261025, and if that's worked, it's all going in.
Thanks, buddy. Lift at your discretion. The wind northerly at 9 knots.
Lifting on my 90 actually.
What time did you come in last night, by the way?
Just after 8.
Roger.
Austrian information. Good morning, Golf Bravo Tango Golf Zulu for radio check, airfield data and taxi.
Golf Bravo Tango Golf Zulu, Austrian information. Hello, taxi to the Bravo hold, runway 26 right, QNH 1025.
Bravo 26, QNH 1025.
Sky's clear, runway's clear.
Fine, sir, X-ray, cross south to north.
Crossing, departing Alpha.